What's up, family? If it's your first time checking out the show, let me know what city, what state you're coming in from. If you're outside of the U.S., let me know what country you're representing. Family, I need you to smash up the likes, smash up the likes, smash up the likes. Also, if it's your first time checking out the show, let me know what city, what state you're coming in from. If you're outside of the U.S., let me know what country you represent. Going in, Donald Trump, your president, has called for the death penalty for drug dealers. Now here's the thing, fam. This is not the first time that Donald Trump has called for the death penalty for drug dealers. He's been saying this for several years. It's interesting because Donald Trump is a god hypocrite. This hypocrite had a deal in Panama where he loaned his name out for a property that was used for money laundering. That's right, money laundering by drug dealers, the drug cartel in Panama, right? So here's how it worked. Somebody would buy a property, they would pay cash, and they would use hidden companies. You know, the whole idea was to be as anonymous as possible. Now, one might argue, well, you know, Trump wasn't selling the properties. He really just used his name. No, the Trump organization had a right to take a look at those files. And every single person who wanted to buy a unit, they had the right to take a look at that property, take a look at those deals. And they purposely chose to turn a blind eye because Trump wanted to get to the money like he always did. This deal was quite lucrative for Donald Trump. So he didn't care nothing about drug dealers owning property. He didn't care nothing about people being a drug dealer. He didn't care nothing about doing business with drug dealers. He went to the top, to the cartel. Then, let's not forget, fam, the dude let several drug dealers go under his watch. How you calling for the death penalty and at the same time responsible for letting thousands of drug dealers back into the free world? This is another one of those Don the Cons. This is him saying something to try to grab the headlines. Now, I'm not saying that he wouldn't go through with it if he was elected. But what I am saying is that this dude is a con. He is a con. Let's not forget how many government agents, people that got paid, who worked for the government, who was responsible for bringing crack into the United States and dropping it off into the ghettos. Let's not forget that they created the problem. And now all of a sudden they try to jump in and play the hero. That's the game, fam. They create chaos and then either play the victim and then try to become the hero, or they just create chaos and play the victim. This is how they do it. They'll create the chaos, sit back and just watch all the fighting and the bickering go down. And they sit back and they wait till there's so much death and destruction that the people don't care how somebody try to combat it. They just don't give a damn about nothing but themselves. You can't trust this guy. You can't. Now, this is for all you other folks that as soon as I say something about Donald Trump, you try to find an opposition. I don't give a damn about Biden either. I'm talking about Donald Trump right now. Okay, so we got that out the way. And here's the thing too, fam. Let me show you how dumb Donald Trump is. Let me tell you how super duper dumb he is. He already has the power. He had the power as the president to execute drug dealers. Bill Clinton signed a law back in, what was it? 7, I think, 07, something. I can't remember what the year was. But Bill Clinton had already signed into law at the height, 94, at the height of the crack epidemic. Bill Clinton signed a law that allowed the government to execute drug dealers. So that law is already actually on the books. It's just that in 24 years it's never been used, because it really hasn't had to be used because of the draconian laws and penalties, the draconian penalties that are already in place for drug dealers. So they've never had to use it, or they've never used it. This just goes to show you how stupid this dude is. The death penalty is his thing. Now, you know, they always try the tough on crime thing, right? They always try to use the tough on crime thing when they're trying to get votes. That's an automatic go-to, because every election people are scared to death. But check this out, fam. If being tough on crime was so damn effective, why do you got to continue to run your platform on tough on crime, and why people continue to be scared to death every single election? They have the same amount of fear every single election. People are scared to death. Today, people are scared, more afraid than they were 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 10 years ago, 12 years ago. Tomorrow, they're going to be more afraid than they are today, even though they're going to go out there and vote for some person that call themselves tough on crime. The thing is that all politicians, well, not all, but many politicians are already tough on crime. We're talking about more so about the violent crime. Okay, so when these guys say tough on crime, understand that tough on crime is code word for being tough on blacks. That's right, I said it. Tough on crime is code for being tough on blacks. When they be in there talking that tough on crime shit, man, that's who they're thinking about. I know them, fam. I know them well. I've been around. I know them. I know how they operate. Donald Trump is a skunk. That's for all you Trumpettes out there. I know y'all be watching me, boy. Y'all love to watch me. Y'all love that pain. Y'all pain freaks. Cause I ain't got nothing over here for you but some pain, baby. I know you don't like me. I don't like you either. You come over here, this is a no-fly zone for Trump. That's right. I see Trump, I go in. What a hypocrite. What a hypocrite. Talking about death penalty for drug dealers. Hey, I'm cool with that. As long as you're gonna make it retroactive. Make it retroactive and go back and get all of those government people that cash those checks, all those people that cash those government checks that had a hand in bringing the crack to America in the first place and dropping it off in the hood. Go get all of their asses. But he ain't gonna do that, because most of them are his friends. Most of them pockets he padded. Believe that, fam. And then how many of these big pharma people are he gonna go get? There's more people die from pharmaceutical drugs than illicit street drugs. So how about them? But see, that's too much like right. See, you can kill as long as it's government sanctioned. As long as you got a certificate, as long as you got a license, you know, as long as you got a license, you can kill. You can kill. As long as you got permission from the government, you can kill. you won't have to have any responsibility, no accountability. But if you go out there and try to do it by yourself, then that's when they want to lock you up and throw away the key. That's when they want to execute you. Donald Trump made this statement again at his rally in D.C., right? If you notice, if you go to my Instagram, my Instagram is Willie D, y'all. There's a link in the description of this video, I believe. But if you go to my Instagram, you'll see this video I posted of him talking about the death penalty for drug dealers. This guy, as he talks about the death penalty for drug dealers, he's not, if you listen closely, you'll hear some applause, but you don't hear that hardcore applause that he often gets when he just say words like huge. Instead of saying huge, he say huge. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge. So you don't get that type of applause. You know why? Because a lot of his base are drug dealers and dope fiends. That's right, I said it. I said it. A lot of his base are drug dealers and junkies. Going into the comments. It is what it is. Prince, what's up? Sweet Peaches, what it look like? Jesse. Chef Brooklyn. TF, baby, what up? What's up, Reggie Reg? Hey, and if you're gonna give people that sell drugs time, what about the people that use the drugs? See, that's hypocrisy. If drugs are that bad, if they doing, and I'm not saying they're not, but if they are, if you feel that passionate about giving the drug dealer time, you need to give the drug user some time too. I personally think that the drug dealer and the drug user should qualify for hospitalization, some type of mental evaluation. Send everybody in. You know, like it's a crisis on both sides. It's a health crisis on both sides. Send both of them in for therapy. Send both of them in for rehabilitation. Send the drug user and the drug dealer in for rehabilitation. They ain't gonna do that though. Can't make that money. You can't get to that money like that. Loyal and kind sunshine. What up? What's up, Mrs. Matthews? Tony Harper, what up? Erie P says, no one is making people sell drugs, and no one is making people use drugs. You got a buyer and a seller. See, it was cool to lock up the buyer and the seller as long as black people were doing the buying and selling. But when and I ain't saying that other people haven't all been doing it, but you know, black people were on Front Street doing it. So now that white people are on front street with the opiate addiction, now it's, ooh, let's get the user some help and lock up the dealer. Hypocrite mother. Can't stand y'all asses. Queen Gemini, what it do? Supply and demand. What's up, Jared Pierce? T baby, what up? TT baby. Al Anderson, Jersey City in the building. white Tupac. No such thing. I saw this coming. Steph Bell, what up? Who's that? Jen Shin. Appreciate you, Jen Shin. Mr. Perfect. Rob Trimble. One-on-one. Somebody said crack killed my community. Yeah, crack did, but keep in mind, crack did destroy. You know, but don't just, when you think about crack destroying the community, don't just think about the black people who used it and who sold it. Think about how they got their hands on it in the first place. Like, if you wanna, if anytime you want to get some information, isn't the best way to obtain that information is to go to the source, right? Let's go to the source. If there's an illness, if a person has an illness, the doctors try to figure out what is the source of the illness. They don't just try to treat, they don't try to treat the illness until they figure out what is the source. And America has never dealt with the source of the problem with drugs. They don't want to address that because they get paid. That's right. They get paid to not address it because they're part of the problem. All of these elected officials, well, not all of them, but y'all know what I'm talking about. They're part of the problem. They in on the con. They're in on it, fam. The drug dealers and the drug users are the pawns. Donald Trump, if he was to execute, if he was to be serious about executing drug dealers, he would have to kill a lot of his buddies. That's right, because a lot of them profited from drugs. Yeah, and in fact, and let's not, if you're going to execute the drug dealers, what are you going to do about the banks who knowingly launder money, allow them to launder the money? What are you going to do about these high-rise buildings and loan offices and mortgage companies that allow them to purchase buildings knowing that this stuff come from drug money, or at least that they can't prove that it comes from legitimate income sources? What you gonna do about all those people? Nothing, because y'all in on it. They your buddies. They stroke checks for you. How many times people go up and buy a car cash and the dealer look the other way? What you gonna do about those dealers? Yeah. What you gonna do about the Mercedes-Benz dealers, the BMW, the Land Rovers, the Lamborghinis, the Rolls Royces, the Bentleys? What you gonna do about those dealerships that take that cash? Nothing. Fucking coward ass hypocrites. Get out of here, man. I don't want to hear all of that. Y'all are hypocrites. And I'm not saying that a drug dealer don't deserve some type of penalty. But be consistent. Be consistent with it. Don't just point out the drug dealer, because the drug dealer alone ain't the problem. It's just like pointing out that these kids out here running around here with guns. Who giving them the guns? Where are they getting the bullets from? How are they getting their hands on these guns so easily? They don't want to talk about that though. These damn drugs, these guns were planted in our community just like they planted the drugs. Dropped off in the community. Okay, y'all take each other out. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be some accountability for those who go out there and squeeze those triggers. But I'm saying it's possible to do two things at one time. Yes, deal with them, but also deal with the source. deal with those aggressively, hit them with some draconian laws so that they know that we don't get on like that out here. But they're not going to do that because they want the kids' body. They want our kids' bodies cold or warm. Cold in the morgue or warm in somewhere in a dope house or a penitentiary. Now that's facts. No more talk.